You ever just lose yourself playing a video game, just completely missing the track of time? Yeah, that's been me for the past few days. Welcome to Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Ever since this came out, I've just kind of been playing it on and off when I haven't been doing anything else. Like,
Impressive.
if I've had a lull in doing assignments for college, I've just been doing this and pretty much nothing else. It's been a blast so far. You can kind of see that I've kind of did a lot already. But, I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to make a video on it, even though it's fairly recent. It's not something that's ever going to be made into a Let's Play, but it is something I want to show off. I guess I'll show off, at least the first battle, first chapter, per se. I picked a cooking ingredient I probably shouldn't have, because I don't recall there being any, like, fire enemies. The power-up, or not power-up, but the effect I took negates fire damage by 50%. I don't think there's actually fire enemies in this stage. I can have Future Me check it, though he doesn't really need to do anything, considering it's just a, bonus video. It's probably going to go into the side stories. Because I still want to add more to that. But, for those on the fence of what this game is, Hyrule Warriors is a hack-and-slash game that is part of the Dynasty Warriors-ish series. Mainly anything, like, Dynasty Warriors related is called, like, the Musu series, in a way. So, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity would fit under that umbrella. You are pitted against an army of hundreds, if not thousands, of enemies in an attempt to drive back whatever army you're fighting against. I've elected to play as Link for this simply because he's the character I know the most about. Or, what's the best way I can put this? In every Dynasty Warriors game, it's like a fighting game. You're gonna have that one character that you fully understand how to use, and I feel like Link's the only character as of now that I fully understand how to play as. Because there's a lot of other characters that are fun, like Impa is really fun, but I still don't feel like I fully grasp how to use her yet. So I don't think she would make for a fun character to play as at the moment. Or at least at the time of me recording this, or at least me playing as Impa would be pretty boring, I feel. So I'm just gonna play as Link. Please understand. We are tasked with fighting a moblin. We can do light attacks by pressing Y, and then strong attacks by pressing X. With the right timing, we could have done a flurry rush like we could have done in Breath of the Wild, but I find it's trickier to pull off. You can break the enemy's stance when those weird red triangles appear. By breaking that fully, you can do an attack with X. That's kind of like a special attack. Also, another thing we have is the special gauge that, once filled by pressing A, will launch a special attack. Be careful when you use it, because it's very situational, and sometimes you can kind of waste it on something you don't intend on wasting. Another thing we have from Breath of the Wild are runes. You can pretty much break an enemy's stance by using runes at the right time, and specifically using the right kind of rune, like we just did with the bomb room. Also, one thing you're going to notice is that Breath of the Wild is a big game, and I find this game translates Breath of the Wild's world really well.
Right.
So it's not like it's an open world. This isn't an open world Dynasty Warriors game. They didn't do what they did with Dynasty Warriors 9, which is good. But they at least imitate the feel of, like, Breath of the Wild's They imitate Breath of the Wild's world in such a way where I feel like it's great. Like, the world still feels big, despite the fact that you're contrived to basically whatever the size of the battlefield is. It's not like you have all the gizmos and gadgets you had in that game, but you can still... They still find ways to inherit Breath of the Wild's mechanics and add them to this game. I'm gonna skip this cutscene real quick, because Nintendo has been on a weird streak as of late of, like, breaking down, or, like, taking down streams and just inputting the banhammer, and I don't know if that happened yet, so I'm trying to keep story beats to a minimum. Let's get rid of more of these guys. So, Breath of the Wild. I've credited this with saying that it's one of the best Switch games beforehand. I said this when self-isolating. This is probably the best game to play if you're playing a Switch game. But, I've had more of a history with it because I still like this game a lot more than I think most people would think. Like, I hold Breath of the Wild in high regard. Back when Breath of the Wild first came out, I was in a rough patch, let's just say. I was miles away from home. I had basically no contact with my family or anything because this was college, and, you know, I'm not going to say Ontario's big, but when you're literally, like, far enough away that you could literally fit 2 countries into the distance between me and my family and friends at the time, you can tell things got lonely, and the worst part is that I'm living in literally one of Ontario's worst communities at the time, on top of going to what was basically a really bad college, so I was really depressed. And for a game that really warrants escapism and everything, Breath of the Wild was basically the only thing I was doing that wasn't college for like a solid month and a half before college finally ended. Do I think it was worth going to that college? Probably not. But it did give me a lot of credits I needed to just get out of a lot of other courses, so make of that what you will, but I don't know if it was worth me, like, nearly dying as a result of stress over that, but that's 3 years in the past. It doesn't really hold much argument anymore. Jesus, it's been 3 years since I last went to college. Well, 3 years since I last started a college. I'm back at college now. And I completely missed that rune. That could have given us the advantage, but I have a pretty high-powered weapon right now, so it's not like it really does us much by missing, because we were still going to beat him anyway. These enemies can actually organize and formate proper strategies. That guy actually, like, directing an entire, like, group of enemies just toss their weapons at us. Might be actually worth dealing with the Wizrobe right now before it's too late. Yeah, let's fight it. We'll show you another character, Urbosa! This is another character I've had a lot of fun with, not just because she's one of the best characters in Breath of the Wild. She's just really fun. She's agile, she has lightning, she has a lot of AoE, and she kind of has a beam attack if you do things the right way. And you know what? I'll give this to me. There is fire enemies in this stage, so it kind of was worth doing it, even though this might be the only one, which makes him not nearly as good. Let's redeem myself with that last mist bomb. There we go. But we don't get to do the special attack because we killed him anyway. That's unfortunate. You guys are another stronghold from the looks of it, or it's just one big enemy. You can string a lot of combos together by, like, pressing the light attacks multiple times and then following it up with a strong attack. I haven't unlocked everything yet. Spoiler alert, this is a Dynasty Warriors game. There's going to be a lot of things to unlock later that we just have not. But for now, we have enough things. And I guess another thing to talk about Breath of the Wild, how they translate well, is that I felt like Breath of the Wild was very open-ended in what it could do. And as someone who likes their freedom to be the kind of freedom that I can do whatever I want, provided it builds up to the goal I'm looking towards, then I find that to be the kind of freedom I want. So, like, games that do that include Xenoblade Chronicles X. You know the objective early on, but the game lets you tackle that objective no matter how many ways you want to do it. And then Breath of the Wild is, oh hey, Calamity Ganon's coming. It just procrastinate until you're strong enough to fight him. And those are the kind of open world games I like. Another thing I like about Breath of the Wild is something that has been, in a way, more prominent as of late, and that would be systemic game design. And this is a game term where basically you've got a lot of tiny game mechanics slash systems that all kind of work together in tangent alongside a bigger system. So for example, the chemistry system that they have in Breath of the Wild, for example, how if you light grass on fire, you can create an updraft, or even the physics system and how that creates a lot of different things. How the weather interacts, like if you get like a fire sword, it actually like keeps you warm in a cold area. Those kinds of things, and I find it really impressive when Breath of the Wild did that, because it led to a lot of different ways of fighting things and tackling obstacles. That was not what I intended to do, but you get to see that. I was intending on using Cryonis there. Maybe I'll get to show Cryonis eventually. I think before this is over, I will want to show at least all 4 of the runes. I don't know if I'll get the chance, because depending on the missions I do, I might not get the chance to show them off. One thing I know for sure is that we have at least shown off bombs a few times. Let's get you out of the way. And now let's finish the mission. I think you're the last moblin left, so we can get you out of the way real quick. And that'll be the end of the mission. Let's kill you, and finish this up. Or I can be completely wrong. Thanks, game. This is something else I can show. The elemental rods. We have ice rods, fire rods, and electric rods. They recharge over the time, and that's why those whiz robes were there. They actually give you more ammunition for the rods. They all do different things, and I guess I can get future me to just show off what they do, because I don't think I've fully understood what each of the effects of them do. Good. But that's the end of the mission. Not a bad run, all things considered. And we get, as reward for beating that, aside from the actual rewards, we get a cool rendition of, like, the song that plays when you beat one of the bosses in Breath of the Wild, like, some of the Blight Ganon fights. That's one of my favorite songs in the game, and you only hear it, like, 4 times in one playthrough. It's kind of unfortunate. But it also sounds like they also, like, added in, like, music beats from Hyrule Castle into the mix, and it sounds really nice. A lot of these, like, Dynasty Warriors crossover games usually tend to have, like, rock music, but this one actually has music that accentuates the kind of tone and feel of the game itself, which I really like. I feel like this is... English. I feel like Koei Tecmo is finally starting to do more different things with the Warriors gameplay. This game is only out in Japan, but Persona 5 Scramble actually feels more like a Persona game. It feels like a proper sequel to Persona 5 from the gameplay footage I've seen. And now with Age Calamity, they're trying to show off like an actual war that's going on, or actually like display the actual war elements that happened in the past that Breath of the Wild had as its backstory, and detailing that properly. And that's why I think this prequel works as a Hyrule Warriors game, because it's the kind of thing that would have happened back then. You would have expected, like, a lot of armies to be fighting during, like, Calamity Ganon's, like, actual, like, rise and awakening again. I didn't unlock every character yet. From the looks of it, it looks like the loading screen actually shows which characters you've unlocked, though. It shows off the Mini Guardian, but I didn't unlock the Mini Guardian, so I wonder if he's going to be a playable character or not. I guess I could show off just one more mission before we end things off here. There is a lot of missions to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. As you saw, there's a lot of side quests on the map itself that we got to do by giving people the right items. We can actually get, like, boosts, health upgrades. We can get characters more combos. We can get more resources out of it. More HP. There's a lot to do, and a lot we haven't done yet, and a lot I have yet to even see myself. probably would get to it more quickly if I wasn't, like, doing schoolwork, but schoolwork is schoolwork, and I don't want to fall behind. There's a proper use of stasis. It doesn't really do the whole physics-based thing that Breath of the Wild did, but it still sends at least lesser enemies flinging. So, some of you may be wondering, am I going to do a Zelda game as a Let's Play? And I thought about it, and I definitely had ideas of, like, doing Breath of the Wild as an LP, like, in the very, very distant future. But I just can't think of a structure I would want to have for that game. Because that game is big, and I'm not sure how I would tackle doing, like, the main campaign and everything, because basically the way Breath of the Wild works is that there's 120 shrines, and the 4 Divine Beasts, Hyrule Castle and the final boss, and then, like, multiple side quests and the 900 Korok Seeds. But I don't think all of it's necessary for completion, and if I really just went and did, like, what I think is important to the game, that includes a few important side quests, that could still be, like, a 100-plus episode series, and then some. My big concern is that, I might not have the rig to edit things that quickly, because you can see I've done, like, very small Let's Plays, like, by the time this is being posted, Pikmin should be done, Super Mario Brothers, they're only very small series of only, like, 9 to 10 episodes each. And that's currently the length of which I can actually do series on at the moment. I do have plans to eventually up the episode count, I'm just not sure how I would do it. And especially with a game as intense as Breath of the Wild, I want to be able to do it right, if not at all. Now that we got this guy out of the way, let's get him. And finish. Thanks for the rescue. Let's see what we get. Leave none behind. No coin, no rupee, no enemy left behind. Get some weapons. More materials. And yeah, that's Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It's a good game from what I've played. First impressions are really good. It could use a maybe at least one update to up the frame rate just a little bit more. But otherwise, it's been smooth sailing and it's been fun. This isn't for everybody, but from what I played, it's been really fun. Next time, though, on this channel, will probably be the next Let's Play. I'll see you guys then.